was recently at a Porsche meet filming my previous video, and I realized something. I think all Porsches look good. The old ones, the new ones, even the slightly awkward ones. And that made me question whether I'm just biased or if Porsche have figured something out that other brands haven't. Because if you think about it, most car brands are a little hit and miss. Sometimes we see great designs, sometimes not so great. But Porsche, it's weirdly consistent. So I wanted to break down why that is, and if I'm seeing something real, or if I'm just seeing something that I want to see. For me, it starts with the 911, because this car has evolved rather than being redesigned. If you line up the generations, the shape is basically the same. The roofline, the proportions, the stance, it's all still there. The early cars are all about that line from the roof to the rear. It's one clean, uninterrupted curve. And that's what gives the car its elegance. The front feels very much of its time now, but the rear shape still works today. By the 70s, it becomes more muscular. The arches are more pronounced and the stance is wider. But crucially, the core silhouette doesn't change. Then the 964 builds on that. Everything feels more defined and more planted. Then the 993 smooths things out again. The surfaces flow more and the edges soften. And the whole car starts to feel like it's been shaped by airflow rather than just styling. The 996 is probably the biggest shift because everything became more stretched, lower and more streamlined. It looks faster and more modern, but also slightly further away from the original character. And then the 997 pulls it back. It brings back that classic identity without undoing the progress. The 991 is where it becomes properly modern. Bigger wheels, wider stance, smoother surfaces. It looks fast even standing still. And then the 992 refines the details that matter around the headlights, the arches and the rear haunch. Everything just feels more evolved, and this is where it gets interesting. Because this isn't just about the 911 evolving over time. The 911 is shaping everything else that Porsche makes. Different types of cars, completely different purposes. Even something like the Porsche Cayman, mid-engine, different layout, still carries the same sense of proportion. The same stance, the same design language, you can always tell it's a Porsche, even before you see the badge. And I think it comes down to what Porsche prioritizes, because a lot of modern car designs are driven by details. Sharp lines, complex lighting, oversized grills. Things that grab your attention in the moment, but Porsche seems to work the other way around. It gets the overall shape right first, the proportions, the stance, the balance of the car, and then everything else follows. Even something like the Panamera, which people have mixed feelings about, it still looks balanced and it still feels like part of the Porsche range. And that's why even if you don't love every Porsche, they never really look wrong. But then there's the other side of this. Maybe Porsche isn't better, it's just playing it safe? Maybe I like it because it's familiar, not because it's objectively better design. And if another brand released something that looked like a 911, would I feel the same way? To be fair, Porsche isn't the only brand with a strong identity. Ferrari, Lamborghini, even Bugatti, you can recognize them instantly. But I think the difference is where the consistency comes from. With those brands, it's more about the feeling, the drama, and the attitude. With Porsche, it's the shape, the proportions, the silhouette, the core form of the car hasn't really changed. So I don't think I'm just being biased. I think Porsche approaches design differently. It doesn't reinvent itself every few years. It takes something that works and refines it over time. And what that creates is a design language that you can recognize instantly because it's consistent. And that's kind of the definition of design DNA. It's not trying to be something new every time. It's just trying to be a better version of itself, which I guess is something we can all learn from.